The theft and the choice Mira ran through the dusty streets of the colony. Her stomach hurt. She had not eaten for 2 days. The alien sun burned her back, but she did not stop. She needed food, and she had no money, no home, nothing. Survival was her only goal. In the distance, the landowner's mansion stood tall and bright. Alien guards patrolled its walls, their weapons gleaming. Mira's eyes darted around. She knew stealing was dangerous, but she had no choice. Hunger made her bold. She ran closer, hiding behind broken walls and abandoned carts. Her heart beat, fast, but her mind was sharp. Inside the mansion's storage, she saw rows of glowing food crates. Mira's mouth watered. She glanced around. No guards were close. She moved quickly, lifting one crate carefully. The glow of the food warmed her hands. She smelled the strange alien spices. It was her first real meal in days. Suddenly, a loud voice shouted, "Stop! Thief!" Mira froze. Alien guards appeared, their eyes glowing red. She had been caught. Her body trembled, but she did not run. She could not. She had nowhere to go. The landowner arrived. He was tall, taller than any human Mira had ever seen. His skin shimmered like silver, and his eyes were cold. He looked at her with curiosity, not anger. He spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "You are bold, human. Few dare steal from me. Why should I not punish you?" Mira swallowed hard. She bowed her head. I was hungry. I had nothing. Please, I only wanted food." The landowner studied her. He smiled slightly. "Hunger can make anyone desperate, but desperation can also be useful." He paused. "I will give you a choice. You may work for me. You will work my fields by day, serve me by night. If you refuse, you will be cast out into the wastelands. You will die alone. Which do you choose?" Mira's heart raced. The wastelands were a place no human returned from alive. She looked at the landowner and nodded slowly. "I will work for you," she whispered. The landowner's smile widened. "Good, you will start at sunrise. Remember, survival demands obedience and cleverness. Fail me, and the wastelands will claim you." Mira left the mansion that night. She walked alone under the alien moons. Her mind was full of fear and questions. The fields would be hard. The nights. She did not know what the nights would bring, but she had survived. For now. The next morning, Mira entered the fields. They were enormous. Alien crops stretched farther than her eyes could see. The soil glowed faintly, alive with energy. Mira picked up a hoe. The work was heavy, the sun relentless. Her muscles ached, but she did not complain. She worked carefully, always watching the guards. They were strict, quick to punish mistakes. As the day passed, Mira noticed strange things. In the field, some plants moved slightly when no wind blew. Some glowed brighter at night. She touched one, and it felt almost alive. Her curiosity grew. The alien world was strange, dangerous, but it held secrets. Mira's mind began to work. She had to survive, and understanding this world was part of it. Night came. Mira approached the mansion, her hands raw from work. The landowner's guards escorted her inside. The hallways were cold, filled with alien statues and glowing symbols. Mira's heart pounded. She had no idea what was expected of her at night. The landowner appeared. "You survived your first day," he said. "Now the night begins. Obey my rules, human, and you may live another day." Mira nodded. Fear twisted inside her, but she forced calm. She had no choice. She followed the guards into the night quarters. The rooms were dimly lit. She felt eyes watching her. Every movement was controlled. Every sound measured. She realized the nights were harder than the fields. Her survival depended on not just strength, but wit. As she lay down on the narrow bed, Mira thought about her life. She had stolen to survive, and now she had a new life of labor and danger. She thought about tomorrow, about the fields and the secrets she had seen. She thought about the landowner and his strange power. But she also thought about herself. She was clever, resourceful, and determined. Mira closed her eyes. She was a human, and humans survived. No matter how harsh the alien world was, she would find a way. She would work the fields, endure the nights, and live. And one day, she might turn the tables. Outside, the wind whispered through the glowing crops. The alien world was alive, and Mira was only beginning her journey. Hunger had forced her to steal, but courage would guide her next steps. The night was long, but she was ready. Tomorrow, she would face the fields again. Tomorrow, she would face the unknown. And tomorrow, she would survive, by any means. The first night, hidden strengths. The alien moons hung low in the sky, casting pale light over the glowing fields. Mira's hands were raw, her body aching from the day's labor. Every step she took was careful. The ground hummed with energy, and she could feel eyes watching her even from the dark edges of the fields. The guards were alert, moving silently, always close, always observing. Mira's heart raced as she approached the mansion for her first night. She had survived the day, but the night was another test. The halls smelled of metal and strange alien oils. Statues with glowing eyes lined the corridors. Every corner seemed to hide secrets. Every shadow seemed alive. Mira reminded herself, stay calm, observe, survive. She was led to a room filled with strange devices and symbols on the walls. The alien landowner entered, tall and shimmering like a ghost in silver light. Your first night begins, human. Obey, or your mistakes will be costly. His voice was soft, but the weight of it pressed against her chest. Mira nodded, fear twisted inside her. But she held her head high. She had survived worse. Hunger had taught her courage. She studied the room carefully. The symbols glowed faintly, and the devices hummed. Mira realized this was more than punishment. It was a lesson, a test of mind and observation. As she walked closer to one glowing device, her fingers brushed it, and she felt a sudden vibration, like the device recognized her touch. Her mind raced. What was this? Alien technology, older than anything humans had seen. Something powerful, something dangerous. Mira's instincts told her. This secret could be her key to survival. The landowner watched her quietly, his eyes narrowing. Curiosity is useful, human, but too much may harm you. Mira froze. He knew she was touching the device. Her heart thumped, but she forced a calm expression. She must appear obedient, or the night would end badly. Hours passed. Mira was assigned small tasks, organizing alien objects, polishing metallic floors, observing the glowing symbols. Each task seemed meaningless, but she noticed patterns. The symbols changed with certain movements. The devices reacted to subtle pressure. Mira's mind worked quickly. She was learning, adapting. Humans survived by thinking faster, by noticing what others ignored. A sudden noise made her jump. The windows rattled. Outside, a figure moved in the shadows of the fields. Mira's pulse quickened. Was it a guard or something else? She remembered the alien secrets she had glimpsed earlier. Maybe the landowner did not want anyone to know about them. Maybe she was seeing something forbidden. One of the symbols on the wall glowed brighter. Mira touched it lightly. A hidden panel opened, revealing a small, ancient device. Its light pulsed like a heartbeat. Mira gasped quietly. This was more than a tool. It was a weapon, or a key, or both. She had stumbled upon a secret humans had no right to know. The landowner spoke again, his voice echoing through the room. "You are learning, human. Intelligence is rare in your kind, but cleverness can be dangerous if uncontrolled." Mira bowed slightly, hiding her shock. She knew she had to act carefully. If she exposed the secret too soon, she would be punished, or worse. Mira spent the night exploring the room quietly, learning how the devices worked. She discovered that with small adjustments, she could change the energy flow in the fields. Tiny changes, invisible to the alien guards but potentially very powerful. Her mind raced with possibilities. Humans were clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. Even in servitude, she could make a difference. By the end of the night, Mira had a plan. She would survive the days by obeying, but the nights would be hers to learn, to observe, to grow stronger. She would use the knowledge of this alien world, these strange devices, and the glowing fields to her advantage. Humanity always found a way to survive. As the moons shifted and the first light of dawn touched the fields, Mira stepped out of the mansion. The landowner watched her silently, a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Mira's heart pounded. She was tired, sore, and frightened, but she had survived her first night. And she had discovered the first step toward turning her situation into power. She looked at the fields, glowing faintly under the rising sun. The alien world was strange, dangerous, and powerful, but so was she. Mira smiled faintly. Tomorrow, she would work the fields again, pretending to obey. But when night fell, she would explore further, learn more, discover more, and humans always survived, no matter the odds. The first night had been terrifying, but it had also revealed a truth. Humans could adapt, observe, and overcome. Mira had survived by courage and cunning, and the next night promised even greater challenges. The wind whispered through the glowing fields. Shadows moved in the corners. Mira's journey had only begun, and she was ready. Unexpected allies. The sun barely rose over the glowing fields when Mira arrived. Her body ached, but her mind was sharper than ever. Last night had revealed secrets, ancient devices and symbols hidden within the mansion. The alien world was strange, dangerous, and full of power, but Mira knew she could use it. Humans survived by being clever, adaptable, and fearless. As she worked the fields, she noticed a shadow moving quickly between the glowing plants. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be a guard? Mira crouched behind a large alien crop, careful not to make a sound. The figure paused and looked around. Then it moved closer. It was another worker, an alien, smaller than the landowner's guards with sharp eyes and quick movements. Mira had never seen him before. He nodded slightly as if acknowledging her. Mira's curiosity rose. Why would an alien approach her? Humans and aliens rarely trusted each other, especially not workers and the landowner's minions. The alien whispered quickly, "You are clever. I have watched you. You survive by wit. You can be useful." Mira's heart raced. This was dangerous. She did not know if she could trust him, but humans were skilled at sensing allies. She nodded slightly. "I will listen," she whispered back. The alien's name was Caro. He explained that he secretly opposed the landowner. Caro had worked for him for years, pretending to obey while gathering information. He had noticed Mira's intelligence and courage. Together, he said, they could plan small acts of rebellion without being caught. Mira's mind spun. Could she trust Caro? Every instinct screamed caution, but humans survived by taking risks when necessary. I will try, she said softly. Caro nodded. His eyes glimmered with relief. We begin tonight. Watch, learn, and follow my lead. The sun fell, and night crept over the fields. Mira followed Caro to a hidden corner near the mansion. He showed her a small passage partially covered by glowing plants. It led beneath the mansion, where the landowner kept more secrets, rooms filled with alien devices, maps of the colony, and energy sources that powered the fields. Mira's eyes widened. Humans had always adapted to new technology quickly. Here, in the alien world, she could do more than survive. She could change things. Caro handed her a small tool. Careful, observe first, then act. Mira took it, her hands trembling with excitement and fear. Hours passed as they explored quietly, learning how the alien devices worked. Mira discovered that slight adjustments could change energy flows in the fields, making crops grow faster, or slower, but in ways invisible to the landowner. Every secret she learned increased her power, even if he did not notice. Humans had always survived by seeing what others ignored. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the mansion. A guard had found one of the hidden passages. Mira froze, her pulse racing. Caro whispered, "Move slowly. They cannot see us if we stay in shadows." Mira followed, holding her breath. The guard passed by and the danger passed. But it reminded her that survival was not just about cleverness, it was about timing, courage, and trust. Back in her night quarters, Mira thought about the events of the evening. She had found an ally, uncovered secrets, and tested her courage. But she also knew the landowner was growing suspicious. Every clever move, every small success could be noticed. Humans had to be unpredictable, always ready, always thinking. Mira smiled faintly. She was ready for the challenge. The nights became training grounds. Mira learned to read alien technology, to anticipate guards' movements, and to communicate silently with Caro. She realized that humans had a hidden strength: patience, observation, and strategy. No alien could predict every human action. She was small, weak in body, but powerful in mind. The next day, she worked in the fields with a calm smile. Guards watched her, but she acted like an obedient worker. Inside, she was planning, learning, and growing stronger. Humans survived against impossible odds because they never stopped thinking. Mira had discovered that the landowner's power had limits, and she would find them. That night, Mira and Caro discovered another secret: a hidden chamber with maps, showing the landowner's plans for other colonies. Mira's eyes sparkled. Humans survived by acting at the right moment, and this knowledge could give her that moment. She realized her journey was no longer just about surviving the fields or the nights. It was about survival on a larger scale. Mira looked at the glowing fields, her heart pounding with determination. She was no longer alone. She had an ally, knowledge and courage. Humans always survived, and now she was beginning to prove it. The alien world had power, but humans had strategy, and Mira was ready to use it. The wind whispered through the fields. Shadows moved in corners, secrets hid in plain sight. Mira's first alliance was formed, and the first steps of rebellion had begun. The landowner would notice soon, but by then, humans would already have a plan. Mira smiled. She had survived the day, mastered the night, and discovered her first true strength. Humans could outthink, outlast, and overcome even the most powerful alien forces. The hidden strike, the alien. Moons hung low, casting long silver shadows over the glowing fields. Mira's hands were blistered from work, but her mind raced. Every moment spent in the fields, every task assigned by the landowner had been a lesson. She had learned the rhythms of the guards, the secrets of the alien devices, and the hidden paths beneath the mansion. Tonight, she would put that knowledge to use. Caro met her in the shadow of a large crop. Tonight, we act quietly, precisely. One mistake, and we both die. Mira nodded, her pulse quickening. Fear was there, but so was excitement. Humans survived because they could think, adapt, and take risks others would not. This was one of those moments. They slipped beneath the mansion, through the hidden passage Mira had discovered. Every step was careful, silent. The walls pulsed with faint energy, reacting to their presence. Mira reached out, adjusting a small device. The floor beneath the alien landowner's quarters hummed softly, sending a ripple through the mansion's energy grid. Tiny, unnoticed, but enough to distract the guards if needed. Caro whispered, "Follow me. Watch the patterns. Move only when shadows move." Mira's heart pounded. Every human instinct screamed caution, but she had learned to trust her mind and Caro's guidance. The chamber ahead contained alien devices, glowing with power. Maps, communication arrays, and energy cores glimmered under the dim light. Mira's eyes sparkled. This knowledge could shift the balance. Suddenly, a low hiss echoed from above. A guard had detected a minor disturbance. Mira froze. Caro pulled her behind a large metallic device, holding his hand over her mouth. "Stay calm. Timing is everything." The guard passed, oblivious to their presence. Mira exhaled quietly. Humans survived in moments like this, observing, adapting, striking when the opportunity arose. Reaching the control panels, Mira saw a network of energy conduits feeding the glowing fields. She realized she could manipulate them subtly. With careful adjustments, she could slow the growth in certain areas, redirect energy flows, and even create small disruptions that appeared natural to the landowner. A small strike, unnoticed, but effective. As she worked, Caro whispered instructions. "Do not overreach. Small victories build the path to freedom." Mira nodded. Each adjustment was precise. The fields flickered faintly, unnoticed by the guards. But the devices hummed in acknowledgement. Mira felt a surge of power. Humans survived by using intellect when strength failed. Here, intellect was her weapon. Suddenly, a door creaked. The landowner himself entered, glowing silver eyes scanning the room. Mira froze. Her heart thumped. Caro hissed, "Act naturally. He must not see suspicion." Mira moved casually toward a panel, pretending to adjust minor settings. The landowner's gaze lingered, sharp and probing. "Interesting. You learn quickly, human." Mira bowed slightly, hiding her racing pulse. The landowner left, but his presence left tension in the air. Mira glanced at Caro. "We are close to discovery. One more adjustment tonight, and we can control the energy flow completely." Mira nodded. Carefully, she moved the final lever, redirecting energy through hidden channels. The field shimmered, faintly, glowing brighter in patterns invisible to ordinary eyes. The night stretched on. Mira and Caro moved through the mansion, leaving no trace of their activity. Every shadow was a shield, every quiet step a statement of human cunning. By the time they returned to her room, Mira's body ached. But her mind was alive with possibilities. Humans survived because they never stopped thinking, never stopped adapting. She had outsmarted the alien world tonight. Before dawn, Mira looked over the fields from her window. The glow pulsed faintly, a subtle sign of her hidden strike. She had learned the alien's rhythms, discovered his secrets, and acted with precision. The landowner believed he was in control, but he had no idea that one human, clever and fearless, had already begun to turn his world upside down. Mira smiled faintly. She had survived by wit, courage, and strategy. Humans had always survived. Impossible odds. And now, the alien world would see that survival was not enough. Humans could dominate with intelligence, adaptability, and audacity. The first hidden strike was complete. The landowner's empire was strong, but Mira had discovered a truth he could not see. Humans were unpredictable, relentless, and cunning beyond measure. The night whispered her victory. Shadows shifted, and the glowing fields seemed to acknowledge her success. Mira's journey was far from over. The landowner would grow suspicious. Guards would watch more closely, and dangers would rise. But humans thrived in challenges. And Mira was ready. Her hidden strike had begun a revolution that the alien world would never forget. The human gambit. The alien moons were high in the sky, casting silver light over the glowing fields. Mira's hands were raw, her body tired, but her mind was sharper than ever. Tonight would decide everything. The landowner had begun noticing strange changes in the fields. The subtle disruptions Mira created in the energy conduits were no longer hidden. He would act soon. Caro met her in the shadows of the central chamber. Tonight is the night. The landowner is suspicious. He watches, listens, and thinks he controls everything. But we have something he does not. Mira nodded. She understood fully. Humans survived impossible odds because they could think, adapt, and act unpredictably. This was the moment to prove it. They moved through the hidden tunnels beneath the mansion. Every step was precise. The hum of alien devices filled the air, but Mira ignored it, focusing on the patterns she had memorized. She reached the control hub, a room filled with glowing consoles and humming conduits. The landowner's energy flowed through every pipe and wire. Tonight, she would turn that energy against him, without being caught. Suddenly, alarms blared. Mira froze. Caro hissed, "They know something is wrong. Move!" Guards poured into the hallways, their glowing eyes scanning every corner. Mira's pulse raced. Humans survived danger by staying calm, observing carefully, and acting at the right moment. She pressed the first lever. Energy pulses shifted through the conduits, causing the glowing fields above to flicker violently. The landowner appeared in the doorway, towering and radiant, his silver eyes scanning the room. "You dare interfere, human?" Mira stepped forward, her voice steady. "I survive because I am clever. You underestimate humans." The landowner laughed, a sound like metal scraping stone. "Clever? You are weak. You are nothing." Mira smiled faintly. "Weak? No. Humans survived by using brains when brawn failed." She activated the second conduit. Energy rippled through the fields, redirecting power and creating a feedback loop in the landowner's devices. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the glowing fields shimmered like a storm. Caro moved quickly, disabling guards quietly, giving Mira space. "Hurry! Control the hub now!" Mira adjusted the final lever. The alien devices began to pulse in patterns she controlled. The landowner's power, his control over the fields, was now in her hands. He stumbled, confused, unable to understand how a human had outsmarted him. The landowner roared and surged forward. Mira's heart pounded, but she did not flinch. Humans survived by thinking 2 steps ahead. She activated a secondary circuit, trapping the landowner in a field of his own energy. His eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible! You cannot!" The words ended as the energy pulse immobilized him completely. Mira stepped closer, calm and unwavering. "You thought control was yours. You thought humans were weak. But we survive by adapting, by thinking, by being clever when others underestimate us." Caro nodded beside her. Together, they had turned the alien's power against him. The glowing fields outside pulsed violently, then calmed. The energy conduits hummed softly, now under Mira's control. The landowner struggled, but humans survived by patience, strategy, and courage. He was defeated not by strength, but by human ingenuity. Mira surveyed the room. Caro smiled faintly. "We did it. You did it." Mira shook her head. "We survived, yes. But humans do more than survive. They adapt, they conquer, they thrive. This is only the beginning." Outside, the first light of dawn crept over the fields. Mira looked at the glowing plants, now under her careful watch. She had learned, she had fought, and she had survived. The landowner's empire was shaken, his control broken. Humans had won, not through raw power, but through intelligence, courage, and cunning. For the first time in the alien world, Mira felt true freedom. She had survived the theft, the knights, the hidden alliances, and the landowner's wrath. Humans had always survived impossible odds, and now they had shown they could thrive against the mightiest forces. The wind whispered through the fields. Shadows moved, but Mira no longer feared them. She had become the human force that even the aliens could not predict. Every challenge, every risk, every clever move had led to this moment. Mira smiled. Survival was only the first step. Humans adapted, humans strategized, humans triumphed, and Mira had proven it. The landowner remained trapped, his power neutralized. The fields glowed under Mira's control. Allies and humans in hiding would now see that the impossible was possible. The human spirit had triumphed once again, clever, fearless, and unstoppable. And in that alien world, a new chapter had begun, one where humans were no longer victims, but masters of their fate.